Hey everyone, my name is Erica L. Clymer and I'm a children's book author and an illustrator too. Today I'm going to be reading my new book, Myla's Magic Day. There are two things that inspired me to write this story. One is my love of drawing, and the second is that whenever I have to do something that I've never done before or meet people that I've never met, I get a little scared and nervous and I think to myself, I'm not sure if I can do this. And sometimes I can get over these feelings myself, and sometimes I need help from others. But I have to say that some of the best things that have happened to me have been when I've done the things that I've been most afraid to do. So I wanted to write this story to help inspire others to gain the courage and confidence to do the things that maybe they're afraid to do and just believe in themselves. So let's get started with Myla's Magic Day by me, Erica L. Clymer. Myla gathered drawing materials as shouts of "You're it!" echoed through her bedroom window. For a few moments she peeked outside at the neighborhood kids playing tag. What should I draw today, Myla wondered. She quickly remembered her favorite animal from a trip to the zoo, a zebra named Magic. First she drew the curve of Magic's back, followed by the shapes of his legs and hooves. Myla sketched a long face with tall ears, as well as his eyes, nose, and mouth. She scribbled his spiky hair and fluffy tail, then filled in each wavy stripe. As she finished her drawing, Myla heard the kids laughing outside. She whispered to herself, "I wish I had a friend to play with." Suddenly her sketchbook began to shake. It moved faster and faster and faster until, poof! Out of the book popped Magic the zebra, the real Magic the zebra. "Howdy, Myla. I'm here to be your friend and play," Magic proudly announced. Myla could not believe her eyes. Hello," she stammered. Magic heard the kids playing outside. "Are those your friends?" he asked. She timidly answered, "I just moved here and haven't made any friends yet. I want to ask if I can play, but I'm worried they'll say no or I won't fit in." "I felt the same way when I came to the zoo," said Magic. "But I soon realized I wouldn't make any friends unless I got out there and gave it a try. I started by smiling and saying howdy. The more I did it, the more comfortable I became. I was not always warmly welcome, especially by the lions, but that's okay. I always made sure to be myself. Over time, I had a great group of friends at the zoo." "Let's practice meeting each other again. You start." She put on a big smile and said, "Hi, I'm Myla. Would you like to play?" "Howdy, I'm Magic. I sure would." "Let's play dress up," Myla exclaimed. She rummaged through a basket of play clothes and flung out her best items. Magic posed in the mirror. "I feel like a movie star." "This tutu makes me want to dance," sang Myla with a twirl. She played some music and they boogied all around the room. After a few songs, Magic plopped to the floor. "Dancing makes me so hungry." Myla knew just what zebras like to eat and ran out the door yelling, "I'll be right back." She returned with a towering plate of freshly picked grass for Magic and an apple for herself. They gobbled up their snack and got right back to playing. "Do you want to build a fort?" asked Myla. "I love forts," Magic shouted with glee. They lined up chairs and draped blankets over the top. Myla gathered pillows as Magic shimmied to get in. He noticed the shelf filled with books and asked if they could read a story. "I love to read," proclaimed Myla as she grabbed her favorite book. By the end, they were both ready for a nap. As they drifted off to sleep, Magic whispered to Myla, "You're very kind and a lot of fun. Anyone would be lucky to have you as a friend." After a while, Myla slowly opened her eyes. She sat up to wake Magic, but he wasn't in the fort. She searched behind the dresser, in her closet, and underneath the desk. Magic was nowhere to be found. He must have had to get back to the zoo, she thought. I hope to see him again. Myla saw that the neighborhood kids were still outside. She decided to ask her mom if she could go out and play. "Sure, sweetie. Stay close," said her mom. She nervously walked over to the group. Remembering what she practiced with Magic, Myla smiled, introduced herself, and asked to play. They cheerfully shouted, "Yeah!" and told her their names, Finn, Sally, and Billy. She spent hours with them. When it was time to go in for dinner, they all made plans to play together the next day. After dinner, Myla dashed up to her bedroom to draw some more. When she saw the sketchbook, her face beamed with excitement. Written on the drawing was a special message. "Myla, always be your wonderful self. Your friend, Magic." The end. Thanks for reading along with me today. Now I'm going to show you how to draw Magic the zebra from the book. So get out a piece of paper and a pencil and let's draw. So we're going to draw Magic just as Myla drew him in her sketchbook before he came to life. So let's get started. So first we'll draw the curve of Magic's back just as Myla did. So let's start in the middle of our page almost, maybe a little bit towards the left. We're going to draw a curve coming down like this and then going back up and around like that. Okay, and then from this curve, we're going to draw a curve going downward like that. And then we're going to curve in for the back of his leg. And then we'll do a little curve out, like a bump out for the back of his knee. And then we'll curve in for the bottom of his leg. So just like that. And now for the front part of this back leg, I want to start right about where I started the back of the leg. So I'm just going to kind of bring my pencil over. Right about there, I'm going to start and draw a curve going down, just like that. And then I'm going to draw a curve going inward. Okay, and now we'll add his hoof to the bottom of the leg. So I'm going to draw a curved line kind of angling down this way, right between those two lines. And then I'm going to draw a little bit of a curve in the front, going downward. And then we'll draw a curve going across this way. And then we'll just connect these lines with a little bit of a curve coming around. And then I want to add just a little curved line at the bottom left of the hoof, just to give that little bit of hoof detail. Okay, so now we'll draw the other leg, which is behind this one. So I'm just going to follow this front curve here. And I'm going to start right about here. And I'm just going to follow this curve. Like that. And then I want to add a little bit of a curve inward here, just to give those two legs some separation. I'm just going to erase some of these extra lines here. Okay, and then we'll draw the other hoof, and since it's behind this one, it's going to be slightly above it. So I'm going to start with that bottom line. We're only going to draw the front part of the hoof, again, because it's behind. So right about halfway between this hoof, I'm going to draw a slightly curved line coming out this way. And then I'm going to draw a little bit of a curve going upward. And then I'll draw a curve going downward to the right. And then again, we'll add that little hoof detail line right there. Okay, so let's draw the front legs. So right about where we started our initial curve, right here, I'm just gonna bring my pencil down, not draw a line. I'm just gonna put a dot there because I wanna start the back of the leg there. And then I wanna start the leg as well with this leg. So I'm just gonna again bring my pencil over, not drawing a line, and then bring it over to my other dot. So now I know where the back of that leg should start. So from that dot, I'm gonna draw the same curve I drew over here. So I'm gonna curve like this. I'm gonna do that little bump out for the knee, so a little bit of a curve inward. And then again, I'll curve in for the back of the leg. Okay, and I'm just gonna erase my dots that I drew. And then for the front of this leg, we'll draw again our curve coming down and then going inward. And it is definitely okay to erase if you don't get it right on the first try. I usually don't get lines right on the first try, so I just keep going, erasing, and redrawing. Okay, so we'll do the hoof on this one as well. So I'm gonna draw that curved line going down towards the right. And then I'll draw that little bit of a curved line in the front. And then I'll draw that curved line on the bottom, just very slightly curved. And then I'll connect those with a tiny curve there. And then I'm just gonna connect the leg line to the hoof. And then again, we'll add that little curved detail to the front of the hoof. Okay, and then the final leg, it's gonna again be behind this leg here, so we'll only see part of it. So we'll follow this same curved line here. So we'll start right where that leg started, but to the left of it. And we'll just follow that curve down and in. And then we'll do that little curve for the back of that leg right here. And we'll add our last hoof. So again, this one will be behind the one we just drew. So I'm gonna start about halfway in between this hoof. I'm gonna draw very slightly curved, short line there. And then I'll draw a little bit of a curved line going upward. And then we'll draw our curved line going down towards the other hoof. And then I have a line overlapping. I'm just gonna erase that. And I'm gonna draw that same little curved hoof line. And I actually see that this is a little bit too far over, so I'm gonna erase. And I'm just gonna bring it over a little bit so I get the shape that I want here. There we go. Okay, so let's connect the legs by adding the bottom of his belly, which would just be a curved line. So I'm gonna start with this leg here, and I'm gonna curve all the way over to this leg. And you'll see it's taking me a few lines to get the shape I want, so I'll just erase some of these lines that didn't work out. And then I want to bring this leg up to that line. Actually, I'm going to overlap it a little bit. So I'm going to go over that line a little and erase that little piece there. So I'm pretty happy with this curve. Okay. So now let's work on the head. So the head is going to be like an upside down pear shape, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to start here. It's going to be above the front legs. We're going to start to do the face and above this curve that we had already drawn in the beginning. I'm going to do about a half circle right about here. Circles are always the hardest for me to draw. It takes me a few lines to get them somewhat round, which is all right. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so we have our half circle. We're gonna kind of bring that into the pear shape. So I'm gonna start here and I'm gonna bring that in with a curve. And I'll do that same thing on this side, bring it in with a curve. And then do another half circle at the bottom. And then I'm just going to erase some of these extra lines that I drew just to clean things up a bit. And then I just like to look and see if it's the shape that I want. If not, I'll just, bring it out a little bit more if I want to get more of a rounded shape here. I'll just take a step back and look and see where I need to make those tweaks. So I'll just erase this previous line. I'm pretty happy with this pear shape. Okay, so now we're going to bring the head to the rest of the body. So I'm just going to start on this left side, right about where this curve is starting. And I'm going to bring a curve out, just slightly out and down, and bring that right to the legs. So it'll curve just in a little bit here, and then just out. And then I'm going to just erase this little line here from the leg, and just bring the line I just drew into that leg. And then again, I'll just clean up some of these other lines that I drew. And draw over that, and I'm just gonna do a little bit of cleanup on this side. Okay, so now let's work on the ears. So the ears are almost circle shaped, but they don't have to be perfect circles. So I'm gonna start on the right side of the top of his head. And I'm just going to start with two little curved lines like that coming out the right side. And then I'm going to connect these curved lines with almost like a circle, but not a perfect circle. So let me darken that a bit. And that will be the right ear. And then we'll do the same thing on the left side, but mirrored. So again, I'll draw those two little curved lines, very short. And then I'm going to draw that ear coming out like this. Okay, let me just darken that up a bit. Make sure that's visible. Okay. Now let's work on the snout. So for the snout, we're going to draw a curved line right about here. We'll start. It's going to kind of just come up and then come back down, and it'll be symmetrical across the face. And I'm just trying to get the right shape here. And I'll erase some of these extra lines. Bring that up a little bit. Okay, that's pretty good. And then we'll add the nostrils. So the nostrils are almost like upside down teardrop shapes. And they have a little bit of a curve. So I'll draw one here to the left. And I'm going to fill that in. It's a little bit thicker at the bottom than I wanted, so I'll just erase. Kind of make that a little bit thinner. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side, but mirrored. So I'm just doing this upside down teardrop where it's thicker at the top and a little thinner at the bottom. Okay, and then for the mouth, I'm just going to draw a half circle at the bottom of the snout here. And then within that half circle, I'm going to draw another little half circle. Like that. Okay, and then let's add his eyes next. So his eyes are ovals and they're on towards the end of his face. So right over here on the right side, I'm going to draw an oval. I'm going to start drawing lightly till I get that shape that I want. Okay, and then I'm just going to erase some of those extra lines there. Okay, and then I'll do the same oval on the other side. So I'm going to just bring my pencil, not draw a line, and I'll just mark top and the bottom so I know how big to make the oval on the other eye, because I want them to be about the same size. So again, I'll draw the oval and just start out lightly and then kind of darken as I get the shape that I want. Okay, so the left one still looks a little smaller to me, so I'm just going to erase part of it and try to make it a little bit bigger. And then again, just erasing these extra lines, taking away some of the thickness of the lines. Okay, now I'm going to add some eyelids to the eyes. So I'm just going to do a curved line about a quarter of the way down from the top of the oval. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. And then for the eyeballs, I'm just going to do circles within these ovals. So towards the bottom, I'm just going to do a circle. So again, drawing very lightly. And then within that circle, I'm going to do a dark filled in circle for the pupil. Okay, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. So we'll do our circle for the eye. And then the dark filled in circle for the pupil. Okay, and then we're going to add eyebrows. So right above the ovals for the eyes, I'm just going to draw a jagged line right above like this. Just kind of quickly going up and down with my pencil. Like that. And then the same thing on the other side. Okay, I want to add a little bit of more detail to the ears. So the ears have a stripe around. So I'm going to follow the curve that we already drew, but just bring it in and add that stripe. So it's almost like a smaller circle within this one. We're just following that same curve. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Just follow that curve. Okay, and I'm just gonna do a little bit of cleanup here. I have some extra lines, so while I'm working on the ear, I'm just gonna erase those a bit. Okay, and then we are gonna add some hair to the ear. So right in the center of the ear and towards the bottom, I'm just gonna do a bunch of pencil strokes going upward into the ear. And they'll be taller in the middle here and a little bit shorter towards the ends. So shorter here, taller here. And again, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Taller ones in the middle, shorter ones towards the end. And then we'll also add some hair to the top of his head. So right in the center here, I'm going to draw some tall hair strokes going upward. And these as well will be taller in the center and shorter on the sides. So we're giving him almost like a mohawk here in the center. And then I also want to add some hair coming down his back here. So starting right underneath his eye and outside of the face, right about here, I'm just going to draw a jagged line that follows the curve of his back. And as we get towards the middle, the line is going to go right into his back. So right about there, it's going to end right into his back. Okay, and then we need to add his tail. So at the back here, I'm just going to draw a curved line coming out and down. And then I'll draw another curved line just below that. It's going to be a little bit thicker at the top here and get thinner at the bottom. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So it's going to get closer to the other line as we get further down. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this down a little bit further, like that. And then I'm going to add a bunch of hair strokes at the bottom of the tail. So we'll just come out. They can go different ways here. As we get to the right, they can go more towards the right, and as we come to the left, more towards the left. And then a little bit longer in the center and shorter on the sides. So just like that. Okay, I think the last thing to do is add all the stripes. So I'll start in the center here, and the stripes are going to be thicker at the top and get thinner towards the bottom. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm just going to do a wavy line. I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom. Should go a little bit further, and then I'm going to do a small curve up and then a wavy line up that gets thicker at the top. So thicker at the top, thinner at the bottom. And then where the hair is, I'm going to bring the wave up into the hair. So only these couple on this side will go up into the hair. And I'm just going to go around and draw the stripes all around his body. Okay, and then we're going to add a few stripes to his face. So I'm going to add one wavy line right in the center here. And then I'll add another one to the right. And and then another on the left of that. And then I'm going to add 2 underneath each eye. So I have one coming this way and another coming that way. And then on the other side as well. And then I'm going to add a short one at the top here. And then the same thing on the other side. And then I also want to add a couple to his tail. Okay, so I think we have all the elements drawn. Now what I'm going to do is take my black marker and I'm going to go around and I'm going to trace over all the lines that I drew, and I'm going to fill in all the stripes as well. Phew, okay, now that all the stripes are filled in, I do want to add a couple things. I'm gonna take my colored pencil. You can use a crayon, pencil, or marker if you have, but I just want to fill in the snout and the hoofs as well. And then I'm going to fill in his eyes. His eyes are brown in the book, so I'm going to do brown for the eyes. Okay, and then one final piece of cleanup I like to do is just go around with my eraser and get rid of any of those pencil lines that are showing. And there's our final drawing of Magic the Zebra. I hope you enjoyed reading and drawing along with me today. Thanks for joining, and I hope to see you again soon.